Hey, welcome back to the deep dive. Ever feel like you're constantly juggling way too many things you're supposed to care about?
Hmm.
Like your brain's just got too many tabs open and everything's grinding to a halt?
Yeah, that feeling of being completely overloaded.
You're definitely not alone there. And here's a thought. Maybe the issue isn't that you don't care enough. Maybe it's that you're spreading your caring energy, like way too thin, on stuff that doesn't really matter.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're looking at the core ideas from the subtle art of not giving a f. And just to be clear, this isn't about becoming some kind of detached, indifferent person.
Right, not about being careless.
No, not at all. It's actually much more useful. It's about being, well, really smart and focused about where you actually point your mental spotlight and your emotional energy. Think of it like upgrading your internal operating system.
Okay.
So you're not constantly crashing from, overload.
Right. It's about taking back control of your give effects, as the book kind of cheekily puts it. So, to make this really concrete, let's think about someone, let's call her Jamie. She's 34, single parent, juggling work, studying online,
A lot on her plate.
a lot. And she has all these goals, get the degree, maybe a side project, keep up with friends. But day to day, she just feels buried, just completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And what Jamie starts to figure out is that not every single demand, every little thing pinging her, actually deserves the same slice of her energy buy.
And this leads us right into a really crucial point.
Yeah.
Our ability to care, our mental energy for giving effect, it's finite. It's a limited resource.
Like a phone battery, sort of.
Exactly like a phone battery, or maybe like the RAM on your computer. You can only run so many demanding programs at once before everything just slows down or freezes up entirely.
Okay, that makes sense.
Think about it. Every notification that pops up, every minor annoyance like traffic, every time you find yourself scrolling, comparing your messy reality to someone else's perfect vacation post. It all uses up a bit of that mental bandwidth, that limited capacity you have for actually caring about things.
Totally. And Jamie would feel this, right? Waking up already feeling behind, like the school stuff, the bills piling up in her inbox, the constant stream of social media, the guilt about not exercising or eating perfectly. It felt like her energy was just leaking out before she even properly started her day.
Precisely. And the big insight here, the core message really,
Mm-hmm.
is stop trying to care about everything equally. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
You end up not caring effectively about much at all.
So you have to be ruthless.
You have to acknowledge that your mental and emotional fuel tank isn't bottomless.
Mhm.
So you need to be, yeah, kind of ruthless, or at least really strategic about what gets your attention and energy.
Okay, so if not giving a isn't about being indifferent or rude,
Mm.
what is it then? What's the actual shift?
It's about being highly selective. It's about consciously choosing, okay, this deserves my attention, my effort, my energy, and equally consciously deciding, you know what, that
Just
doesn't.
letting things go.
Letting the unimportant stuff go. It's not apathy. It's actually about becoming really good at caring.
Mm-hmm.
Caring deeply about the few things that genuinely align with your values, the things that truly matter for your well-being in the long run.
Okay. So Jamie had this moment, right, where it clicked for her.
Yeah, apparently she was doing the classic doom scroll one evening,
Yeah.
flicking through feeds, feeling that familiar sort of inadequacy.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Right. Seeing everyone else's curated highlights while her own to-do list is just sitting there, maybe even growing longer.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, something just clicked. She asked herself, okay, which of these things, mindlessly scrolling here or actually working on my studies, which one is going to move me closer to the future I want?
Yeah, the future for her and her kids.
Exactly. And that clarity led her to make a deliberate choice. Not because she suddenly felt this burst of motivation to study.
Right. It wasn't about feeling like it.
No, it was about recognizing that her long-term goal, the degree, was just way more important to her than the immediate sort of empty dopamine hit from the phone.
That makes sense. And that flows right into this next idea, which sounds a bit weird at first.
Mm.
Choosing your struggles.
Yeah, it's a bit paradoxical, isn't it? But it's also, I think, really profound. The basic truth is that problems, challenges, difficulties, they're just part of life. A built-in feature, you could say.
You can't avoid them.
You really can't escape them entirely. But, and this is the crucial part, you do get some say in which problems you decide to engage with, which struggles you sign up for.
How so?
Well, think about any goal worth having. It comes with its own set of inherent difficulties, right? Want financial security or wealth. That often means dealing with stress, maybe long hours, taking risks.
Okay.
Want to be physically fit? Well, you're signing up for some physical discomfort. need for discipline,
Mm.
maybe sacrificing certain foods or activities.
Right, the early morning workouts.
Exactly. Or, want deep, meaningful relationships. That requires vulnerability, navigating disagreements, putting in consistent effort, being a present parent, get ready for exhaustion, and probably quite a bit of mess.
Ah, yes. Definitely the mess. So it's not about finding a life with no problems.
No, that's a fantasy. It's about consciously selecting the problems you're willing to tackle because the goal they're attached to is important to you.
And Jamie started doing this.
She started framing her choices this way. Like,
Mhm.
okay, getting up half an hour earlier to study before the kids wake up, that's a struggle. It's current. But it directly serves her goal of getting that degree. So worth it.
Okay.
Getting sucked into some pointless argument online about something she can't control,
Not worth it.
definitely not worth her limited time and energy. Feeling guilty about every single tiny thing she couldn't manage perfectly, like missing a non-urgent email,
Also not worth it.
also not worth the mental space. So by choosing her battles, consciously her priorities became much clearer. Life didn't suddenly get easy.
No magic wand.
No, not at all. But she had more clarity, more direction, less feeling pulled in a million directions by things she hadn't actually chosen to care about.
Okay, so you've picked your struggles, you know what's worth the effort, but sometimes just starting feels impossible. That's where this do something idea fits in.
Yeah, this is such a practical one. It's about breaking out of that paralysis of waiting for motivation to strike. Waiting until you feel ready, feel inspired.
Which sometimes never happens.
Exactly.
Mm.
There's this great little anecdote about a math teacher telling a student, basically, if you're stuck on a problem, don't just stare at it waiting for divine inspiration. Just start doing something. Try solving a tiny piece of it.
Yeah.
Anything.
Just move the pencil.
Right. Just start. And that really clicked with Jamie, too. She'd often put off exercise or writing or even just prepping healthier food because she wasn't feeling it. She was waiting for that perfect mood, that spark.
We've all been there.
Totally. So she started experimenting with this just do something principle, but like really small. Instead of thinking, I need to do a 45-minute workout, she'd commit to just 5 minutes of stretching.
Okay, manageable.
Very manageable. Instead of, I need to write 1,000 words, it was, I'll just write one paragraph. Or even just one sentence to get started, adding one vegetable to dinner instead of overhauling her whole diet.
And did it work?
Often, yeah. Because what she found, and what a lot of people find, is that the action itself can generate the motivation. That tiny first step creates its own momentum. It's like pushing a really heavy car, right? That initial nudge takes the most effort. But once it's rolling, even just a little bit, it's so much easier to keep it going. Action first, motivation follows.
This feels like it all kind of ties back to really knowing what actually matters to you, doesn't it? Like having a filter.
Absolutely. You can't effectively not give a f**k, or rather, be selective about what you do give a f**k about,
Yeah.
unless you know what your core values are, what truly matters deep down.
Because otherwise you just get distracted by shiny objects.
Pretty much. A lot of us get caught up chasing surface level values, things like needing everyone to like you, getting more likes on social media, trying to look impressive or successful to other people.
Yeah, the external validation stuff.
Exactly. But those things are often fleeting and, frankly, not very fulfilling. The things that tend to bring lasting meaning usually come from deeper, more internal values.
Like what?
Things like integrity, being honest and true to yourself, personal growth, learning, improving, being genuinely present with the people you care about, expressing creativity, contribution, things like that.
So Jamie had to figure this out for herself.
Yeah, she took some time to actually sit down and think, okay, beyond the day-to-day chaos, what's really important to me? What defines a good life for me?
And what did she land on?
She realized her core values were things like being a reliable parent, notice. Not a perfect parent, but reliable.
Important distinction.
Huge distinction. Finishing her education, that degree was really important for her future. And pursuing her quiet passion for writing, telling her story. And once she identified those core values, they became her internal compass, her filter. When a new demand or opportunity came up, she could ask, does this align with being a reliable mom? Does it help me finish my degree? Does it connect with my writing?
And if the answer was no,
It became much easier to say no or to let it go without that heavy weight of guilt. It gave her a framework for making those choices about where to spend her limited funds. It brought a kind of peace, actually.
and the last big idea is about embracing your ordinariness, which sounds maybe a bit harsh.
It can sound deflating at first, yeah, but the argument is that it's actually incredibly liberating. The book suggests that deep down, many of us secretly believe we're kind of special.
In what way?
Either uniquely talented, like we're destined for greatness that just hasn't happened yet, or uniquely burdened. Like our problems are exceptionally difficult, worse than anyone else's.
I can see that.
And this belief, whether it's about being special good or special bad, can actually hold us back. It can lead to making excuses, feeling entitled, feeling powerless, like, why me?
And Jamie felt some of that. The my situation is uniquely hard thing.
Definitely. Being a single parent, juggling everything, it's easy to fall into that mindset of, this is so much harder for me than for other people, which might be true in some ways, but focusing on the uniqueness of the difficulty can be disempowering.
So what changed for her?
The real shift happened when she kind of stopped seeing herself as this grand exception to the rule, when she started acknowledging her own agency, her own responsibility within her circumstances.
Taking ownership, even of the hard parts.
Exactly. It wasn't that her life suddenly got objectively easier, the challenges were still there. But she stopped waiting for some kind of external rescue, or for the world to recognize how uniquely difficult her situation was. She started focusing on what she could actually do, what she could control.
So realizing your problems aren't necessarily unique.
Can actually be empowering,
Hmm.
because it means that, just like countless other people who face similar struggles, you probably have the capacity to navigate them too. It connects you to common human experience rather than isolating you.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense when you put it that way. So if we were to boil this all down, what are the main takeaways for someone listening who wants to be more intentional with their energy?
Okay, let's try. First, really internalize that your carrying capacity, your fiats, are finite. You can't give them away freely to everything. Spend them deliberately.
Right. Be selective.
Second, consciously choose your struggles. Life involves problems. Pick the ones that are attached to goals you actually value.
Mm-hmm.
Third, get clear on those deeper values. Use them as your compass, your filter for decisions, and where you put your energy.
Okay, values as a filter.
Fourth, the do something principle. Don't wait for motivation. Take one small action, any small action, and let the momentum build from there.
Action generates motivation. Got it.
Fifth, embrace your ordinariness. You're probably not as uniquely special, good or bad, as you sometimes think. And that's actually freeing. It connects you to everyone else.
Less pressure.
Exactly. Sixth, choose responsibility over entitlement or victimhood. Focus on what you can control within your situation. And maybe finally, just, take what resonates with you from all this. Not everything applies to everyone. See what fits your life.
So the real power shift happens when we stop just reacting to every little thing demanding our attention and start making conscious, intentional choices about where we invest our precious time and energy.
That's the heart of it. Choosing what truly matters to you.
All right, great stuff. So here's something for you to think about this week. What's maybe one thing you're currently giving way too many facts about, spending too much energy on? And what's one thing you could focus on instead, something that genuinely aligns with what's important to you? Give that some thought. Thanks for diving deep with us today.